Yo, hey guys, what is up? It's JJ Tech here, back again for another video, another review video, another comparison video here with JJ Tech, which is me, of course. Today, like I had promised, I'm going to be comparing the iPhone 6s Plus to the T-Mobile Revvl Plus. So with no further ado, let's get into the video. So like I had posted on my Instagram story, so if you don't follow me on Instagram, give me a follow. Link will be in the description box down below. I did mention, for all the people that are following me, I mentioned that I was going to compare the T-Mobile Revvl Plus to the iPhone 6s Plus like today. And if you missed that, like I said, follow my Instagram down below to get the latest reviews and news and updates on when I upload a video. So like I pretty much do in all my review videos, I'm going to be comparing, the specs. And a lot of you, I know, are going to say that it's probably not going to be too fair, but I think at this point in time, I think it really is fair, because the iPhone 6s Plus is pretty much what, a 3-4-year-old phone at this point. No, actually a 5-year-old phone at this point. So they should stack up pretty similar. So let's get into the specs first. Alrighty, so now to the specs of the iPhone 6s Plus. We do have an A9 chipset CPU in the iPhone 6s Plus here, with 2 GB of RAM, which might not sound impressive at all, and that's because it really isn't impressive in today's standard. Now on to the T-Mobile Revvl Plus, which, like I said, you're about to hear, the specs are about comparable to the iPhone 6s Plus. This does have a Snapdragon 625 processor paired with also 2 GB of RAM, and the processor, I think, is just as good, if not maybe just a tad bit better, than the A9 chip that is found in the iPhone 6s Plus. So now let's get into the design, which is the more funner part. Now the iPhone 6s Plus here, like I had mentioned in my previous video, if you haven't checked that out, link will be in the description box down below. The design on this phone is kind of a hit or miss. I had mentioned in the previous video before that it is a nice design as I compared it to the iPhone 7, but it just wasn't as good. And it's kind of the case here. It does look a little bit dated for today's day and age. It still feels really premium because it's, metal pretty much all around. The sides are aluminum, as the back is also aluminum, and so it's still a pretty much premium feel, still in 2019, but the design is starting to look a little bit dated, with those antenna bands just sticking out, the bottom and the top, and it just doesn't look as sleek, but yet again, it does not look like a bad phone either. Now, as compared to the T-Mobile Revvl Plus's design, it is a little bit, I guess you could say, more conservative, because it's just black, and a lot of phones these days are just black, keep it a little bit more conservative. And what I mean by that is, it's just black, nothing too crazy. There's no antenna lines sticking out here, but we do see a little bit of a design feature that the iPhone 6s Plus doesn't have, and it's these little pink rings around the camera and the fingerprint sensor, as well as the T-Mobile branding on the bottom, and the power buttons and the volume buttons on the side here, right there. I'm not sure if you can catch that on camera, but it does have a little bit of accent of pink T-Mobile vibe on this phone. But also, same goes with this design. It's just not the best looking design, but yet again, it still is an attractive phone. Now, I did forget to mention the resolution of each of the displays. They are both 1920 by 1080 resolution for both of the displays. Now, in terms of what I think of the displays side by side, let me tell you guys, they look pretty much similar. They're pretty much not that different. As you can see, I'm not sure if you're able to tell, we do have pretty much vibrant wallpapers in the background here. Not sure if you can check that out, but the displays look pretty much identical. Now let's get on to the pros and cons of each of these phones, which pretty much every phone has pros and cons, and none of these phones are an exception. Now, starting with the T-Mobile Revvl Plus here, it is a budget phone. Like I had mentioned pretty much all my videos about the T-Mobile Revvl Plus, so don't forget that. Just a little disclaimer, letting you guys know that this is a budget phone, and the iPhone 6s Plus was a flagship phone at one point. Now let's get on to the pros and cons of each of these phones. starting with the T-Mobile Revvl Plus here. Now I do have one Pro here. There's many Pros, but I'm gonna start with this one, and that is the cameras. It does have a dual setup in the back here. So we do have a 13 megapixel camera for the first shooter, and for the second shooter we have a 5 megapixel sensor. And it might not sound too impressive, but I do have some camera samples I will pull up here on the screen of the T-Mobile Revvl Plus that I took, showcasing how pictures look, and I gotta tell you, they're pretty decent. Definitely not the best out there. It does lack a little bit of color. Now as for the front camera, it's also pretty solid, and we do have an 8 megapixel shooter in the front, and I gotta say it's definitely not as good as what you find on the iPhone 6s Plus. It is a little soft, just not as good. Now onto the cons, and that is the build. Now it's not the worst thing in the world, but it is plastic. Even though it might look like metal, it is plastic on the back. As for the sides, it's also like this painted plastic, which you might get fooled into thinking it's aluminum, which it really isn't. It's just plastic. But other than that, that's pretty much the only pros and cons I have for the T-Mobile Revvl Plus. Now on to the iPhone 6s Plus, and I also have the same amount of pros and cons for this phone. Now starting with the camera, it is a Pro as well for this phone. Now even though it only has one camera, I feel like it's a little bit better than the T-Mobile Revvl Plus. Yeah guys, what, a 4-year-old phone at this point has a better shooter than a budget phone from 2017. Yeah guys, this was a flagship phone at some point, so remember that. So yeah, one of the pros here is the 12 megapixel sensor in the back. I will show an image here on the side showcasing the camera from this phone. It is still really solid even in 2019. Now as for the front camera, we do have a 5 megapixel shooter, which might not sound as impressive as the T-Mobile Revvl Plus is, but it does still take some pretty decent shots. Still definitely not as good as the iPhone XR or XS phones of this day and age, but still pretty impressive. Now to the conclusion. Now I did spend some time with this phone. This is not my phone. This was my sister's phone at some point, and I'm just borrowing it here. And as you all know, this was my daily phone for 6 months, for about 6 to 7 months. So I can say that this is a easy buy. If you're looking for a budget phone, you can find these easily on Amazon or eBay at a pretty good price, maybe at 150 bucks, which I think is a pretty good deal. Because when I bought this phone, it was retailed for about 350 bucks. And now for the iPhone 6s Plus. And if you do buy it in 2019, I really think there are better options out there. You can find this phone for cheap as $100 going on eBay or Amazon or in other markets. And I gotta say guys, it's still pretty impressive even in 2019. Even though on paper the specs might not be too good, in day-to-day use it is a really solid phone. But I wouldn't really recommend buying it in 2019 anymore. So other than that, that's pretty much it for today's video. Just a quick comparison between these two phones, a budget phone versus once a flagship phone that was a flagship phone at some point. So yeah guys, that's pretty much it for today's video. Definitely comment in the comment section down below what you guys thought of this video. Do you guys want to see more comparisons between the iPhone 6s and another phone, or the T-Mobile Revvl Plus and another phone? Definitely drop that in the comments down below. Now one thing I do want to mention is that I am planning to do Forza gameplays, and if you guys don't know what that is, I mean Forza Horizon 4. I do love to play games, and as you know, I did an unboxing of Forza Horizon 4, the Forza Horizon 4 game itself, which I will drop in the description box down below. And I'm saying this because I want to change up the content a little bit. Definitely drop in the comments if you guys want to see videos like that. I would like to do some gameplays, some challenge videos of Forza Horizon 4. Now no guys, it will not become my full-time thing for the channel. I'm still going to be doing tech, of course, but I wanted to change it up, do some gameplay videos. So yeah, drop in the comments down below if you guys want to see stuff like that. So yeah guys, other than that, subscribe down below, and if you haven't followed my Instagram, do as well. I will drop that in the description box down below so you can give me a follow. I do upload my daily updates on when I upload a video, and you guys can know some behind the scenes as well. So yeah, follow my Instagram here at JJTech123. So yeah guys, if you guys enjoyed the video, thank you guys for watching. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.